Hi everyone!
Hi!
Welcome back to our weekly travel chats. We are Kaleva and Linda from Bamboo and Backpacks.
Yes, and this week we're really excited to share with you our chat with Katha from Green Boho Travel. Katha is originally from Germany. She's now living in Canada. She's also lived a bit of van life, and she is passionate about living and travelling as sustainably as possible. Today we have a really great conversation that we had with her. We had a lot in common, so we're really excited to show you this today. Enjoy!
Yeah?
Alrighty, so yeah, my name is Katha. As you already know, I come from Germany, Berlin to be precise. And in the beginning of this year, I quit my job in Berlin and decided to go traveling full time together with my boyfriend Leo. We have a working holiday visa for Canada, which we're very, very honored to have. And ever since March, we've been traveling this beautiful country. And because sustainability is a very important thing in my life that I want to incorporate in my daily actions, it's something that I packed as I went to travel. And to talk about this, to get people engaged about the topic of sustainability, I started the blog Green Boho Travel, where I'm sharing my travel story as well as certain things that I learn about sustainable travel. So I think that's what I would introduce myself.
Awesome, that's great. And what sparked you to start thinking about sustainable travel? Why did it become important to you, or at what point did it become important to you?
I think that was when I finished university. I was looking to find a thing kind of, and this is such a big bow, but it started with me wanting to get rid of my fashion habit. Like I was shopping a lot, and so I was looking for a reason not to do it anymore. And I got into like this fast fashion anti whatever thing, and and I just read a lot about this. And from there on, this just prompted me to read more. Like the sustainability thing started to make sense, you know. It's like, wow, okay, there's an impact in my actions that I'm not aware of at all. And so I just had a trip to Croatia coming up, where I was going solo traveling for 2 weeks. And I was like, yeah, why not try and make your travel sustainable as well? And so I bought a book about sustainable travel. We actually have a very good one in German from Frank Herrmann. If any Germans are watching, it's very good. And I just read the thing, and then I tried out a little bit. Like going to the hostel, going by bus, not taking flights all the time. There's just like these mini things you can do. And I really, really liked it. Felt like it's enhancing the travels in a way, you know?
Yeah, I understand. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And at what point did you learn about this idea of slow travel? How did that come about?
Well, I don't actually know when I started doing that, but like I think when you're traveling a lot, at some point you get really tired of the sightseeing thing, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you start wondering like, who are these people with their selfie sticks? What are they doing here? And I felt like I'm going traveling for like, say, maybe 2 days, maybe a week, and I get home more stressed than I went, you know? I wasn't relaxed at all. I didn't feel like I really saw something of the country. I just saw like things I know from pictures. And so I don't really know. I think it was when we went to Venice that I said like, okay, let's just go without any itinerary at all. Let's just like go there and be there and just like do stuff. Eat whatever we find and like just go around and just take in the view. And maybe that's where it started for me, and where I decided like I actually want my travels to be a bit more relaxed and less planned through, and it makes traveling a little bit more real, you know. You meet people, you learn the pace of the of the country that you're visiting, and you walk in other people's shoes as much as you can. And I really enjoyed that about it, which is why I implemented so much, or why we're doing this here. Like, this is very extensive, of course, like doing this for a year, but we really have no plan. We came to Montreal because it was the cheapest flight, and we're just going through here. So it's just a wonderful way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We can totally relate to that. Especially when you say taking in a little bit more of the culture of the place, of the pace, of the people that live there. That's the main big difference, I think. That's when it becomes real. The travel, at least for us, that you start being exposed to other perspectives or other habits. Yeah, really nice. Really nice to hear that that's how it happens to you also.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally feel like there's a whole community growing around this topic. Like it's just like slow food, slow fashion, as well as slow travel. People start realizing, I feel like more and more, that less is always more, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's just like the bow that I would spin around this, you know?
Yeah, I think that's something that we've definitely learned as well in terms of possessions and things as well. We travel very minimally, and yeah, you realise through travelling in this way that you don't need very much to be happy, and it's very liberating. It's really nice.
Absolutely feel you.
And you're travelling in a van as well, is that right? Because that must be a bit more like minimal living as well.
Yeah, I still live in it, that's the thing. So we're in a place where they don't have really like housing. I'm only moving in on Tuesday into my real house, so I'm actually right now living in my van.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So yeah, and I think that is like one of these symbols of the slow travel movement is this van. Like, I mean, this hashtag Vanlife thing is it's going wild right now. And I don't know how it's in Ecuador. I figure it's not as much as here in Canada, but like, I feel like every second person here has an RV, and they're just like traveling with it, and I really like it. Like, as you just said, like the way that traveling makes you a minimalist, van life just multiplies that, you know, because you have that little space, and also it's about the resources you have. You only have a limited amount of water with you. You only have a limited amount of electricity that you can use. And you really start seeing like, where do I use water? How much do I use? And that it gives you, it reconnects you with what resources you actually use.
Totally relate to that. Yeah, you, as you were asking how it's here in Ecuador, we met some people that are traveling or wanting to travel in RVs or van. It's something that we are really looking forward to, and we really aspire to start traveling in a van. So every time that we meet someone, we ask like, can we see how it's inside? Like you say, about connecting with the resources, was to see how people need to manage the amount of water that they have and the electricity. I was like, wow, I never even thought about this, of a part of having to travel like this. Even though these past few years, maybe the last 2 or 3 years, I became a lot more aware of the resources that I'm using. Definitely not enough as it might happen when you start traveling in a van.
And what would you say are some of the pros and cons of travelling in a van for anyone like us aspiring to live the van life?
So starting with the cons, like, you're gonna hit your head a lot, like literally a lot, like all the time. It's crazy, like when you're in such a small space. But no, seriously, like the pros, it's really amazing, like the freedom you have, and the way you can just go out and explore the country. Like, you can go whenever you want, wherever you want, and just stay there and wake up in the most beautiful places. And that's really good. Also, it's in Canada, where hostel beds are very expensive, utterly expensive. This is just a very cheap way to travel. The cons, of course, are, yeah, well, I mean, the fuel, of course, the gas. Like, I hate going to the gas station all the time, and of course it's not good for the environment, and I know that. And it's actually like it's hard to justify why we use so much gasoline to transport 2 people. But other than that,
there's no perfect way to travel, I guess. You know, we're also flying, and we know that that's a really big contribution to carbon footprint, for example. So yeah, it's not possible to be perfect, and we shouldn't strive to be perfect. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you definitely are doing a lot of things to kind of compensate for maybe having a van and knowing that you're creating those emissions and compensating for it in other ways, and that's already great. A lot of people don't do that, so yeah, that's what it's all about: being conscious and thinking about our actions.
Yeah, I think you're very right with that. But it's really hard to let go of this. Like, I'm a person, I never owned a car before. Like, living in a city, you don't need a car really. And so I always prided myself, like, I don't have a car, but now it happened. And yeah, but I think like also living in the hotel, or if we would have taken a flight from Montreal to Vancouver, we actually would have used the same amount of gasoline per person as we did while we took the van over.
Well,
but
yes.
On the other hand side, we took 1.5 months, and we visited New York City, we visited Niagara Falls, we visited so many places along the way, Calgary, Banff and Jasper. So this is all included into this one thing. I actually calculated that one. So yeah, it's a lot. But on the other hand side, like if we wouldn't have had the car and if we would have had to take a flight, it would have come out the same if you go with like emissions, but it would have been less of the experience. So another advocation for slow travel.
Exactly.
And Vanlife.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
it's about the learning experience as well.
Yeah. So I'm happy with the choice we made.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, because for us, we want to travel by van, but something that we wonder is how do you handle with Wi-Fi? It sounds kind of horrible, because we became so dependent nowadays on Wi-Fi. For example, to have this call with you, I don't know where you're doing it from. So what advice would you give for someone that is like a digital nomad but wants to be a van lifer?
Yeah, this is absolutely a problem. And I mean, if you've been following my Instagram, you know that I've been posting less and less while we were away. Because as you go into the remote areas, Wi-Fi becomes kind of a problem. But Walmart always has Wi-Fi, and they're super welcoming towards van lifers, just as a pro tip. Also, we mostly we took out, we said, okay, so Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be work days, and those were the days where we didn't travel. We just stayed in the place that we were, went to Starbucks and sat the entire day at Starbucks and worked. It's the only way to really do it. And right now here, I'm happy, I have work here, so like a literal job, and my boss is a very, very nice person, and she lets me sit in her office to do my work.
Nice.
Because we still don't have Wi-Fi in our van, and it kind of works.
Sounds very interesting, actually. One of the things that comes to my mind very fast is that it's like a limit of the days that you choose to work and the days that you choose to just travel and enjoy your travel. Sounds like a very interesting approach. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, sure. Maybe it will work for you as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Nice.
So, we wanted to ask, what would you say that are the easiest sustainable changes that you have incorporated into your lifestyle since you started to become more mindful or more aware of all the different things that you weren't aware of at least?
I read that, you sent me the question, and I really, really liked that question. Although I had a hard time answering it, because if you would really ask me what is the simplest thing, it would have been making my bathroom plastic free. But that was also due to the fact that I was living in a Western country, in a city like Berlin, where I had the access to package-free shops and sustainable shops in general, organic shops and stuff like that. I found that this is not as easy in places that do not have access to that. Meanwhile, although it was just because you can do this in a day if you really want to. I think overall and on a worldwide scale, I would say the easiest things so far that I deemed very hard to do before I did it was going vegan. I feel like this is one of the most powerful things that a person can do in order to live a more sustainable life. And I went back when I went vegan 2 years ago, like it was completely only because I wanted to have like a more sustainable life. That was my number one reason at that time. And I was super afraid before doing it because everyone said like, oh, it's so hard, it's gonna be so restrictive. And I seriously, I'm a person, I'm totally attached to my foods. Like I love my comfort foods, and it was really like saying goodbye to old friends when I had to say goodbye to my old comfort foods. But then like 2 weeks in, I was amazed how easy it actually is, how accessible it actually is. Like you just buy vegetables, and it really helped me like to educate myself about food, which I never did before, to cook food, like to enjoy cooking, to learn how to cook properly, to experiment in the kitchen as well. Like this has brought me so much, and it's just like it was very, very easy for me. Like I'm gonna say a disclaimer right here, if it's easy for me, it doesn't have to necessarily be easy for everyone else, but I think that was definitely my experience there.
That's really interesting. And oh, sorry. Do you want to...
No, sorry. No, that is great to hear this. I think that a lot of people have the same preconception that you used to have before going vegan. That is something that is going to be super hard. And when we ask you what was your easiest change, that this is your answer, is I think it's amazing and it's inspiring, hopefully, for a lot of people, that it can be a lot easier than what people think.
Yes. About what you found the easiest. What has been like your biggest challenge for going sustainable, whether it's on the road or at home?
For me, actually, right now it's trash. Like waste management is a thing that I tried to read a lot about and to understand a lot about, which I just came to realize I don't. Like I come to BC or British Columbia here in Canada, they have 6 different trash cans, and
Hold on.
oh yeah,
sorry, we can't see you very well. Sorry.
No problem.
Rewind one sentence.
Rewinding. No problem at all. No, it's like in Canada, like British Columbia is trying to be a waste-free, Vancouver is trying to be a waste-free city by 2040, and you feel that effort, but I just can't wrap my head around how this trash system works here. I don't know what to put where. I feel like nobody really knows what to put where because I keep asking people and I get weird answers. I just don't really understand it, and it's very different than we do it in Germany. Plus, I live in a van. I don't have space to have six trash cans and a compost. Composting is something that I would love to do, but it's just like, it's hard to do while traveling. So I definitely have to say that the trash question is the biggest one that I'm raising right now. Like you're moving from state to state, everywhere is a different system, and it's hard to make a sense of it, you know?
Yes, no, we completely agree. We've just found the same thing actually, and especially now that we've been somewhere like here where you're eating so many vegetables and fruit, I wish I could compost. So once a week roughly we make like a stock out of the vegetable scraps, but yeah, it's not everything. It's great that it's something, I'm really pleased that we're doing it, but there's still so much other stuff going in the bin, or if it's not food scraps, it's maybe plastic because we can't buy things in bulk. So I completely see where you're coming from when it comes to the trash being the hardest thing. I think that's probably for us the hardest thing too.
Absolutely. I think I wrote about this on Instagram lately because I also I really wanted to be as waste free as possible here, but it's interesting that it's the same in Ecuador. It's probably even worse in South America because I know that these companies actually market plastic packaged food to countries that are not as rich as the Western countries. But especially here in North America, I feel it too. Like everything is just plastic wrapped, everything, and it's very hard. Like in the beginning, you try to omit it a little bit, you try to avoid it, but then you see you're not getting your nutrients. You're not. You limit yourself in such a way that it's hard to do and hard to justify. So yes, there is food, plastic waste is the worst. you
Yes.
can't get around it. Basically, there is no way that a normal person can get around it on a daily basis.
Exactly. Yeah, we had that as well. We were realised after about 2 weeks that we'd be eating the same vegetables because they're the things we can buy loose. And I was like, I really have to buy a bag of peas, for
Yeah.
example, because we need like some other kind of green vegetable that's not broccoli. And yeah, it happens to come in plastic, but we can't do anything about it right now.
Yeah.
And you can't compromise your health for that kind of thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you have to make choices.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Like, I see so much commitment on the side of the consumer. I meet so many people like you who say like, I feel bad when I buy these vegetables, although I know they nourish me, but I try to avoid buying them because they're plastic packed. And I would like to see this commitment from politicians and from the companies actually producing this, because we still don't have like they forbid straws. Thank you for that. It's nothing, you know, like the straws are not the problem. And
Yes.
but still like it's investments into the plastic industry, and it's not happening. There is no change happening on the levels where we actually need it. So I think like, yeah, I can't, as you said, compromise my health just because these people make not so good choices about the way our countries or world is where it's going on an environmental basis. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's my rage topic a little bit.
We can feel it. And we totally feel the same way about it. We actually talk every day about these things. But I get the feeling that we are getting there.
Yeah.
Maybe fast enough, maybe not fast enough. We don't know, but we are getting there, and that's a very positive thing. We come from a generation that didn't think about all these things, and suddenly it's ramping up. I think there is a curve of knowledge that is speeding
Absolutely.
up, and it's good. I'm happy to see people wanting to get there, and soon enough we're going to make enough noise to change or to reach these people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the votes in the EU showed a lot about this, like that we have like Fridays for Future and all like the Extinction Rebellion was pretty big as well, and I find it really inspiring to see like that this topic is like on the news again. You know, people know about it, people get very knowledgeable about it, and that wasn't like that say 5 years ago or 2 years ago even. Like this year was really a year where this topic really came to shine. Probably also because of the crazy summers all over North America and Europe. Third in a row, and or second in a row, I don't know. So I'm really happy about people talking about this topic finally, environmentalism. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
And of those people that you're seeing, which of the people do you, or are there any specific people that you look for inspiration for sustainability tips or tricks or things like that?
Not that I could pick out a single person actually. Like, I mean, I think my primary source is of course like social media. I get a lot of tips from Pinterest, and I get a lot of tips from Instagram, but this is such a big community of people that I don't think I could pick out like a single person who's like the most inspiring. Like, yeah, that would be really hard, but there are a lot of people. And also what I also like to see is like when you meet people on the road. Like one thing I do is like when I come to a place, when you go to local coffee shop, when you go to local bar, you talk with people, you talk about like what's happening here, and so you find out about stuff. So that's, I'm not like, I can't say your name, I can only give you the advice. Talk to people wherever you are and ask them like what's happening here and how can I help. For example, like I'm in Tofino right now, and I found out through one of these talks that they have, it really puzzled me, they have water shortages here directly at the ocean, but they do have water shortages here. I would have never thought of that. And so we got to talk about how to save water, and it actually made me more sensible towards this topic here, and I started like implementing more water saving schemes into my day. And so inspiration comes from everywhere, and so I can only suggest that at this point.
That's perfect. I think it's great. You can get inspiration from anyone, people face to face or social media, and I think that's a really good piece of advice. Just talk to people and do your research, and it's easy to find this kind of help for anyone who's starting out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, those were great advices. I think we have a lot of information here to take on.
Yeah.
It's been really inspiring to listen to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for making the time to have this chat with us. We really enjoyed meeting you, and it's been really cool to hear about your story.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very happy that you like what I had to say.
We love what you have to say.
Yeah, we truly love it.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see more of your videos and
Awesome.
what your
Thank you.
more of your projects.
So that was our chat with Katha. We hope you like it.
Yes, don't forget to follow her at Green Boho Travel on Facebook and Instagram to keep up with all her eco travel and lifestyle tips.
Yeah, and don't forget to like and comment this video if you like it. If you don't, please also say so. And in a nice way, if possible. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to continue watching more videos like this.
Yes.
See you next week.
See you next